Okay, we're live. Hi, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, good day. Today, we are going to be having a very interesting conversation. So, a couple of days ago, I made this video. Where is it? Right? I made this video. I just want to quickly get into this, this stuff. Couple of did I say months ago, days ago? Pardon me. I made this video right here, as you can see on the screen, and it was quite an interesting conversation. And not too long after the video was posted, one of our brothers reached out saying that he wanted to answer some of the questions that I posed in the video, and that he also has some very interesting things he wants to information he wants to share with us today. And so that's why we're here. Before I bring the brother in, his name is Mr. Bucci. And yeah, but before I bring him up, I want to first of all apologize for, you know, like where I'm looking at versus where the camera is. Like I did this whole setup today. I just figured it out. It wasn't easy, but we are here. And during the whole process trying to figure it out, I could not figure out how to put my camera directly in front of me, so I would be looking like you guys get it. But please bear with me. I hope it's not too much of a distraction, me looking away from you guys, because I have to be looking at the screen, but my camera is here. But without further ado, let's invite brother Bucci on, Mr. Bucci on, so we get right into the conversation. I want to say thank you to everybody who's joined the live. I see you all. I see you, Jeremiah. I see you, Mayumi C. I see you, Kishon Simons. Thank you for joining the live. Welcome to the conversation. Now I'm just going to bring Mr. Bucci up so he, gives us this gist. This should be interesting. Hi, Mr. Bucci.
Hey, how you doing? Hello, viewers. How you doing, Miss Ivy? How you doing? And I apologize for the way my voice sounds. I has this mask on, and my lips are big, so as I'm biting into the mask. But hey, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to impart some information on you guys that could better help you guys to understand the intricacies of being a Black American, serving in the military and serving in war.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today, Mr. Bucci. We appreciate you. First things first, I want to make it clear the reason why Mr. Bucci is covering his face is for what's it called? For so he can be anonymous, security reason, right? So that's why we have this situation set up like this. But yeah, we're going to quickly get into the conversation now. First thing first, I want Mr. Bucci to give us some kind of introduction. I know he's done a bit of that like earlier, but if there is any more like little information, introduction to add to that he wants to do before we dive deep into the conversation.
Hey, so you guys, my I go by Bucci, and so I'm from the United States. Obviously, I'm from the United States. Live here, born here all my life. I've been all around the world, whether Asia, Africa, Europe, several, many different countries. Been able to see many things, and have a different perspective of other people in my country like me that's not able to have those experiences. Now, I retired from the military, from the United States Marine Corps, and I have a pretty extensive combat history, just extensive history through life. I'm a college graduate and do a lot of things in the community in order to advance people's knowledge and have them understand things in different perspectives in different ways, which I think is important to everyone to have a real general base of understanding of a lot of things by knowing a lot about one thing.
Okay. um So you said earlier when you first reached out that there was a question I asked in my the original video I posted about the veteran who, quote unquote woke up or is waking up to the reality of what's really going on. I wanted to ask you what question that was that caught your attention that you wanted to answer.
So in that video, I watched that video, and I watch several videos that you post. And one of the eye-catching things, or ear-catching, or eye-catching as well, in the video was that he talked about the struggles of dealing with the war of veterans, how we've been lied to about why we were in Iraq or why we were in Afghanistan, how we're not being taken care of. And you said, you asked a question about how do our black brothers and sisters in America feel about serving in the military, serving in wartime in these countries that are like us? So that caught my attention, to be able to, because I do have that knowledge, firsthand knowledge, and I can speak to that. So I immediately, that same day, I reached out to you and said, hey, I would like to speak out on that.
Okay. Okay. So, do you want to get into answering that question first before we move forward, or is it something you want to share at a later date, later time?
We can definitely go into that. Let's what the format that you would like to use. I'm here for you. I'm here for the viewers, and I'm here to impart whatever knowledge that you guys would like to know. Any questions that anybody may have, I can do that to the best of my abilities, and using the knowledge that I have, and do understand that this is the opinion of one person, the opinion and experiences of one person. Several different people, other people may have different opinions or different reasons why they did what they did, but from a general standpoint, I'm pretty sure that I can narrow down why most people like us would do those things, and I can definitely talk to that.
Okay. So, would you please share with us how you felt when you were at war doing all of these things that comes with the job as being a black man yourself? Did you get posted to any black nations for
Uh,
war?
so, so no, I was not in any I did was in Egypt for a very short period training period before we went into Iraq. So Iraq I would consider as a brown country, and the reason why is because most of the people that I've seen there pretty much had the same skin color as me.
Okay. Are you speaking about Egypt now or Iraq when you said
Iraq. So as far as like black countries, no, I haven't served in any combat operations in any black countries. No, like traditional African countries. But as far as brown, like the wars that we've had, Iraq, I served in Iraq for about a total of 28 months.
okay. So like how did all of the things that you had to do impact you as a black man?
As a black man, what I believe is that I did have some moral injury from serving in those areas of operation. And the reason being for that moral injury is that what happens is that I'm looking at people that are pretty similar to me, have some of the same cultural standpoints, some of the same cultural things that they do. That's just like the communities that I live in, where family getting together, just the things that we do as brown folks. So one of the things is that I saw a lot of people just like me. I saw Sudanese people. I saw people from um, Uganda. Saw a lot of Ugandans there, and I'm looking at and I'm like, wow, Like there are a lot of people just like me in this combat arena, whether they were living there, whether they were taking part in the combat operations. So it was a lot of moral injury being directly involved in hurting people from a different region that I'm sitting in there at their home, and I should be where I am back at home, but I'm there enacting the will of basically capitalism, or for lack of a better terms, the powers that be on the earth to garner resources or strategical land.
Okay, so like kind of um what kind of assignments did you particular get? Is that something that you can touch on?
So some of the assignments that we had to do a lot of like route securities, that driving down the road, making sure the routes were safe. Because we had to do a lot, we did sweep the clear operations of cities when insurgents were embedded in areas that then that's what we call the enemy in during that time was insurgents that were fighting against us. So some of those operations, like the route securities and things like that, we often faced. We were driving them amongst traffic. We were, driving on the highways, the little roads, the towns, and we faced a lot of improvised explosive devices, also called IEDs, which are weapons that no one is around them. They're operated remotely and often using different type of explosive devices, like I like 155 millimeter artillery shells or 122 millimeter rockets that they would explode, and it would destroy our vehicles, kill and maim, and without anyone being around. We did um, different things like we did building, helping schools, or just patrolling the area, making sure order and civility was in our area of operations. But oftentimes we get attacked. We get different types of attacks with machine gun fire, mortars, and things like that. So that was some of the type of operations that I was involved in.
So, okay, how do I phrase this? Like, would you say what you were doing at the time in this place, like say Uganda, you said you were at or was it Sudan,
Oh
right?
no, no, were Ugandans and people from Sudan in the country while we were there in Iraq.
What country was
Iraq.
Iraq?
Mhm.
Right. So were you like a did you ever really go to like the forefront or at any part of like a war zone
Yes.
where there's
So
like
yeah, so we were directly involved in different combat. I mean, combat. Just to kind of explain to you guys, and I do understand that it's kind of there wasn't a lot of media coverage or anything like that. The war was just raging. I was there from 2004, and my last stint there was around 2009. And when you're there, the war is everywhere. It is everywhere. You never know when something may happen. Those IEDs, they're planted there. So it's not your traditional, hey, this force is over here and this force is right here. It's more along the lines that there's people within pockets of people that may shoot at you, or you're driving along the highways and they're exploding these remote devices on your vehicles. There's places where we were cordoning off the entire city, and we were taking out the people, women, children, old people, and we were fighting pockets of enemy inside the city that we love. Like for example, cities like Fallujah, cities like Ramadi and Baghdad, or just for example.
Okay, you went out for a second there.
Can you hear me?
I'm not sure, but we can hear you now, though.
Okay.
Um, so this is a question that I asked in that video, and I want you to hear your thoughts on it. In the video, I asked, um, like, why is it basically, now I'm paraphrasing, what do you think about the situation of where governments go to like other countries and cause problems, and then when it's time for like the actual war, right, which is what they wanted to begin with, hence why this caused the problems that they caused, because it's during this war that they get to benefit and infiltrate and get all of the ish that they want done, or that they want for themselves out of the war, right? So what do you think of a situation where is the government, is presidents and whoever, they go to these places and cause problems, but then when it's time to for the war, they send everyday civilians there, who are now not like really everyday civilians now because they are in the military, right? But they are still like the everyday people regardless, and now they are going to fight another man's battle. Like, what do you think about that? And why is it not
Well,
that, and why is it that it's something that people are okay to do or okay with doing?
so I'm gonna break that down in a couple of different parts. And the first part is, one, I believe that these battles, these things these wars and it all stems from resources. Countries trying to get as much resources as possible at very cheap prices, or so that incorporates strategic land, that incorporates putting in governments that is favorable to giving those resources at cheaper prices for
Mm,
consumers to consume and make money for, because the thing that runs governments aren't governments, the money. It's the people in each country that provides the income for the government through taxes and different things like that. So,
mhm,
in order to be able to make as much money as these governments do, it's not good to use your resources. You want to use other people's resources, because especially if people give it to you at a cheaper price and things like that. Now, the second part that I want to talk about is, these people who we never even see, politicians, government presidents, all these people, prime ministers, all this stuff, they never see a battlefield
yeah.
because those people, they're too good for that. These people probably have never picked up their fist in their life, you know. Now, why do we have to go off to fight? Young America. The military is pretty. I can speak on. I can't really speak on the militaries in other countries, but I can speak on the military in America. And the military in America is an all volunteer force. And with an all volunteer force, we have incentives, such as, one of the biggest incentives in the United States military is free education. Where we get paid, to go to school. They'll give us free school and stuff like that, because one of the ways to advance yourself in the United States is through a college degree, and which opens doors, and it also gives other benefits. For example, after service, I mean, you could get retirement. It gives you structure, it gives you pay. And as we know that in the United States, I mean, everything looks nice. Yes, absolutely. But everything costs a lot. And there are a lot of taxes. There's so everything, the wages are low when you're first starting out. When you're 17, 16, 17, 18, you don't have very much money. And the way how costs are rising, so the military is a very viable option because it does give you pay, steady pay, 3 meals, and a bed that you don't have to worry about. It gives you structure. So a lot of the people come from broken homes. A lot of people aren't doing well in school because if you have the opportunity to go to college, if you have the opportunity to go to college, why go to the military? You don't have to, So the people that are targeted are poor, poor communities, people who aren't doing well in school, and things like that. And we go to the military, but one of the positive things is that, like myself, is that you come out better financially or stable than you were before you went in because of the benefits. Now, what you have to do while you're there, yeah, you might not like that very much, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But and it's like we talked about before the show started, is that sometimes you got to do things that hurts in order to advance yourself or to live, to put yourself in a different situation. So the people, like the guy that was in the video that I responded to, we don't come from very good homes. We don't come from rich situations. And then if you go back and you think about how the black community has been disenfranchised since the beginning and before the country, military service is a way out of like what we call the trap, right? The trap. Well, we're in these ghettos, we're in trailer parks, and we don't get good jobs. Our parents don't get good jobs, and things like that. So the military is a really attractive option. Now, while you're in the military, when you join, you're for the government. You have to do whatever they tell you to do. And if you get kicked out, that's a dishonorable discharge, and your life is pretty much over because you won't be able to get jobs, you won't be able to get government assistance, you won't be able to get anything. Housing. It'll be very difficult to get housing if you get kicked out of the military on a dishonorable discharge. So, with that said, most people who join the military in a volunteer force are doing it to get out of the situation that they're currently in.
Mm-hmm. So, would you say that the way the system is structured is very, it sets up to take advantage of not so privileged folks?
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely. I mean, throughout history, the advantage takes advantage of the under advantage, but the under advantage is under advantage because of the advantage. Because the advantage takes all of the resources and the ability to do things and leave people in a situation where they're under advantage and have to make decisions
Change
that.
with different internet.
Can you hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Hello?
Sorry, I lost internet connection.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. As
Oh.
as as long as nobody's getting in and trying to shut us down.
No, it
um,
was my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is starting to act up. I'm not sure what the problem is.
I
So
got
you
you.
were saying,
So what I was saying was, like the advantage. I mean, the reason why people are disadvantaged because of hoarding of resources, things like that. Whether, like, if we're going to talk about some of the disadvantages, like that Black Americans have, is that we don't get the same education We are often in communities which stem from Jim Crow and segregation, which wasn't long ago. That ended around 1970s, which is less than 60 years ago.
Mm.
My parents went through that. My parents went through that. You know, so my parents weren't free. There were laws against them that they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that. So you're looking at a young generation of people who, if you're born in the late 70s on up, until about the late 80s, you're the first free generation of black people in America. So to even know about the opportunities that's available to you, no one knew because your parents couldn't tell you. They didn't know, so you just had to go out and do things, right? So I decided to join the military because I felt, it was real hard to get a job. The competition to get a job, just to get a medial job, unless you're doing labor. If you're doing labor jobs, then yeah, you could get that, but you're still being paid very, very minimal, not enough to support yourself.
Mm.
So, with that said, the military was a very, very viable option in order to advance myself. Now, what you have to do once you sign that contract is what you have to do, and there's no way around it. Now, we're looking at, in today's time, we're looking at problems recruiting in the military, because people have lost that whole patriotic-ness, like the one guy was talking about in the video, in the video that you posted that I responded to,
Yeah.
that he was lied to and things like that. But let me tell you something. we, I don't know that lie. I mean, I have the shirt that says we have been bamboozled, but we have been bamboozled as a world society. But
Mm.
we knew, Black Americans, we know the lie because we never got to live what everybody else was living.
Mm.
Never. So when we joined the military, it's not because of patriotism. It's not because, oh, yay, we love the country because so much and blah, 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 blah. No. It's to get yourself out of a terrible situation that otherwise you're either going to die in jail or live a very mediocre life.
So I want to ask you, you said earlier that the reason why you join and the majority of other people join, I believe. Okay, maybe not the majority, but a lot of people join. Is like it's a means to advance.
Yes.
Would you say it is worth it choosing this means to advance, given what you have to do and the possibility of what could happen to you, and how you mentioned how you it affected your morality and stuff like that? Like, would you say it's something that is worth it, this route you took um for advancement?
Yes. Because the alternative is still not good. I mean, and I was sitting there trying to think about it, talking to my brother yesterday, before coming onto the show, and like, what were the options? Just to kind of dive back into what were my options, coming out of high school. I mean, I didn't receive the best education, you know, nor did, I even really try because, I mean, as we all know, United States education system is almost last in the world. We make workers, not really critical thinkers and things like that. So, with that said, my options, off the rip are getting a medial job, trying to go to college and taking on a lot of student debt, you know, in upwards of $60,000, $70,000 that an 18-year-old just doesn't have, you know, and then
Mm.
having the problems of trying to find a job as a black man in America, It isn't, and if we look at the economics, you know, white folk make more money, and then you got black folk, you got Asians, black, white, women, everybody makes more money than us, and women don't make more money than us. Women don't make more money than a black man. You know what I mean? So one, so one, we have to go through things like anything we do as a black man, it's documented to where now if you mess up, you can't vote, you can't get a job, blah blah blah. So it's easy to make a decision to go to the military because my alternatives might have been selling marijuana or trying to get a job at a grocery store and trying to work my way up, not giving a fair opportunity at really high levels. You see what I'm saying? So in the military, the worst thing I'm worried about is getting someone who's going a supervisor or something that's going to try to keep you down because you're black, but at the same time, they really can't. All you have to do is do all the because the military is laid out in a way that all you have to do is follow all of the wickets and you will advance. You know, so it's most a lot of successful black people in America have been through the military and have gained those benefits. The benefits after service, I mean, uh, your kids can go to school for free. Your spouse, you get paid. I mean, it's just the benefits are enormous. I'm in a position where other people like me don't even have that opportunity. So if you look back, right, to 1940s when these benefits were made for veterans, the black, like my grandfather served in World War II. I had two grandfathers served in World War II, and they didn't get to get those benefits, while other people got to get those benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which advanced the country. So now, in today's time, what I'm looking at is the same thing that those people got to benefit way back that way, but my grandparents didn't get to benefit from those same things. They went to the war. When they came back from Europe, you couldn't wear your uniform as a black man. No, you'd be lynched. You'd be beaten. All these things like that. You couldn't be proud of your service, you know? So now I'm in the position where I'm enjoying those the benefits that other people got to enjoy and advance themselves back in the 1940s. You see what I'm saying? So and it's up to I rather the rate of black incarceration and the destruction of the black community is very active in this country, and the alternative of going to the military, and you may not have. When I joined, there was no war going on. Immediately, September 11 happened, and I ended up having to go to a war, you know. But a lot of times the chances is like if somebody joined between 2015 and if 2015 and to up to today, the chances of them going to a war was slim to none, pretty much, you know. So they're doing things around the country or around the world, and they're not really actively engaged in combat operations, but still get to enjoy free school. These things that can not only elevate yourself but elevate your family, because what we're dealing with is against is we don't as Black Americans we don't have generational wealth. We don't have generational wealth. We're just being able to even be able to get the ground footing for some wealth, and then we have things like the everybody want to follow the rap music and all this stuff like that, and that stuff is destroying our community. So to go and sell drugs or do these flashy things, I would much rather go to the military and have enjoyed benefits for the rest of my life rather than do the box that they gave me to be in. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I get you, but I do want to ask though, and this is not me judging because I can say I understand where you are coming from, right? You had to do what you had to do given the cards that you were um dealt, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That I
Yes, ma'am.
understand. But I want to know, how do you balance it out, like up here and in here, like you doing this, which is like to you the only option that you have, but then the option that you have is going to lead you down the path where you are going to be doing some things that are probably not right. You are going to be supporting um causes that's going to bring harm to other groups of people, and that's how you get to benefit. Like, how do you balance it so it doesn't affect you up here? If that's something that you've done, I want to know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could definitely talk to that.
Hmm.
So most military people, when we join, we're 17, 18 years old. You know,
Right.
you don't know nothing, nothing. You think you know everything, but you don't know nothing. You know, and what the guy said in that video that we were lied to and these things is not that we were. If you just do a little bit of analysis, you can know exactly what it is. You know, you can know exactly what it is. And when you sign that line to be in any military, whether it be, a Nigerian military, whether it be American military, French military, whoever's military,
Hmm.
you're putting your life on the line, and you're going to harm other people. You may have the possibility because that is your job. There ain't no one in the military, in any military in the world, that ain't never had to shoot a gun at some point.
Hmm.
And guns are made to kill people. We're not going out there and going to war and hunting cows. No. Any military service is an act of, it's going to be an act of violence against other human beings. So, and this has gone on through the human history of acting. I mean, it would be if you have, like here in America, we deal with black on black crime. You know what I mean? We could say the same thing with what is the moral injury to somebody who kills somebody on the other block just because they live on the other block, you know, and no one speaks out on that, no one speaks out on that, and one of the things is that being a warrior is something that has been since the beginning of time. The beginning of time. Everyone has to protect their own life. Somebody is always going to want to take your things. If you have something, somebody's going to want to come get it. So being a warrior, you have to put in your mind, that hey, this may happen, but like I said, in the United States military, you have a lot of incentives to put that aside, and then your training as well, because I can speak to the Marine Corps, but they completely break us down into, from what we are and make us into people who we can do those things. And we still have to think because we are human beings. And we have to deal with that in our mind. That's why PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, is a big, big, big problem. And
Right.
it's not just a problem of war. You could get PTSD from being in a car accident. You could get PTSD from being sexually assaulted. You could get PTSD a multitude of ways. You know, now how do I deal with that? I was actively engaged in hurting other people far away from where I live, and that never did me personally anything. How do I deal with that? Well, I have to take a bunch of medicines. I have to take, I have to try to keep myself doing good things for people and things like that, trying to right the wrongs inside of my heart. you know, because I can't fix what happened, nor was I responsible for what happened. But because the decision that I made, I had to do those things. But it's not my fault per se, because once you sign into any military, that is your job. And just like the person at McDonald's or whatever restaurant, their job is to fix that product and give it out to the customer. As a warrior, that is your job. Whatever specific job you have in the military, that is your job. Which in the military, your job, no matter if you're a cook, no matter if you're an airplane pilot, no matter if you're a grunt on the ground, your job is directly affecting someone's life, you know. And to deal with that, you know, I want to give you a number.
Okay.
Since 2001, since the beginning of the global war on terror, we have experienced 114,000 suicides of American veterans. 114,000 suicides. There are people that are not handling the mental injury and the moral injury, and they rather take their own life than step left, right, left into forward motion into the rest of their lives because of the mental injury and the moral injury, which cannot be explained to not our viewers and not our friends and not our family unless you do it, unless you see it, unless you smell it, unless you hear it. You know, you can't even explain what it is. It's the worst thing on the planet. It's the worst experience on the entire planet.
But I want to ask you now, seeing where you are now and knowing what you know now, given all that you've had to go through and all that you've done, would you say that um if you know what you know now back then, you would have done something different, you would have acted differently?
Um, well, it's hard to say that, and the reason why it's hard to say that is because um, life would be completely different. So I can't say what, and I was trying to figure that out yesterday. What would have been if I didn't join? I don't know. Can I go back and change? I don't know. I might, you know, I could have not joined the military, and I could have been trying to sell a little bit of weed and make a little hustle, and somebody could have shot me for the weed I had, and I could have been dead a long time ago.
But let's say you can't go back, hypothetically. Let's just say there is hypothetically a possibility or a situation that could send you back. Is this something that you would say go back and make a different decision?
If I had the knowledge of if I had the knowledge that this particular future would have and what happened in the past 23 odd years, I would basically have to have the same problems in life before. If I had the same problems in life before, with segregation, slavery in America, segregation, the disenfranchisement of black people, and I had the same opportunities that I had then, I would make the same decision that I made. Um, but if I had a different set of opportunities where, hey, if I could have said, hey, man, I'm going to go to school and I know this war is going to, if I would have known any war was going to happen, you know, it may have changed my trajectory of my life to where, hey, I know there's a war coming, and then I'm going to be in this war. If I go there, I may have said, hey, I'm just going to take the $60,000, $70,000 of student loan debt and go to school. But the situations that lead up prior to a person making the decision is what makes that person, and that would all have to change. So the reasoning of joining the military from my perspective of my life was because I had no other opportunity because of things that happened to us long, long, long in advance. Also, I had a lot. My grandfather's there wasn't a volunteer military back then. That became a thing like after Vietnam, after the 1970s. And so my grandfather, I had 5 family members that were pulled out of their house all at the same time and sent to Europe. 5. All 5 boys were gone. Poof, come here. We're going to war. I had uncles that served in Vietnam. So I did have experience with understanding what the military was, what I could possibly go through. I did have those experiences, and at that time, things would, for me to make the decision not to go, things in my life prior would have to be completely different. I would have to have the opportunities because the other side of things, if I wanted to be a doctor, let's say I wanted to be a doctor, I have to do 10 times more things as my white counterpart to be a doctor. So either way it goes, life is hard. And I don't know, video games and stuff. If you look at the highest level on a video game, I like to use Madden NFL football as an example, right? And if I play man as a black man in America. You are living your life on the hardest level of that video game where everything is up against you.
Earlier, you said something about protecting what is yours, right? As a warrior, that's something that you have to do. You have, because people are going to come and try to take your stuff. You remember saying that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Being that you were in, the US military, right? How can I put this now? We all know what the US is and what it stands for and what it goes on to do. And you, as a veteran, knows all too well, like, the intricacies definitely of what was going down. So, like, coinciding the statement you made about, like, other people going to take threatening to come take your stuff, and you as a warrior have to protect this stuff. I'm trying to mesh that I'm saying with the fact that it's the US that goes around, sorry, it's the US that goes around trying to take other people's stuff, right? So how did you back then, if you did, try to, deal with this? And I just want to know how you were able to, like, because now it's a can I say a contradiction? You
Yes,
you are
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
you are not defending
Hmm.
and trying to stop
Right,
people
it's
from,
an offensive. Yeah, yeah,
you are the offensive.
yeah.
So how does that work for you? How did it work back then, and now how do you,
All right.
like,
So
balance that?
again, I'm gonna break that down in a couple of parts. So maybe I didn't clarify what I meant by, that there has always been wars since the beginning of time, right? So the warrior was somebody that protected their area, um, and what people started to go on offensives to go get other people's things and stuff like that. Now, how does that play into today? Because I can understand how what I said could be misconstrued as a contradiction. But, growing up in America, we're raised, whether you're black, white, whatever, that America, this is the greatest place on earth. You know, there is no other place that even matters. That you don't want to go there, and you don't want to go here. You don't want to go anywhere. All those places suck. You know, for lack of better terms. We grow up. thinking that this is the only thing that exists, whether you're black, white, or whatever. Because this is the society that we grew up in. We don't know any other society. You see what I'm saying? Especially, let's think about black people, for instance. When immigrants come to this country, any immigrant, whether they're African, whether they're, European, Asian, whatever, they don't come to the black community. No. Why would somebody want to put themselves in that community that's ostracized in that country? You're voluntarily going to another country to be ostracized if you put yourself in with those people, right? Like the Spanish people that come across the border, they don't come to the black community because why would they want to do that? You're already ostracized. You see what I'm saying? So we grew up. I mean, we do many different things. Pledge of Allegiance, all this stuff, blah blah blah. We grew up thinking everybody else is bad. Everybody. You know what I mean? So to go on to what the one guy said in that last video, that you're lied to. Like what you understand about the world is not really real. So I identify on that. You know, and when you go, you join, and everybody else is bad. These people are against you. They may come to take. 9/11. They come to blow you up. They're gonna kill you if you let people come over here. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna take your stuff. Blah blah blah. So we have, we think, okay, so let's go back to 9/11, right? Boom, these people came and attack us. So we have to go now and go somewhere else to stop this from happening to us here at home. So now and we're gonna go and we're gonna die. So that's what's in your brain. That's what's in your brain. That you're doing a good thing. That you're liberating these people where you're going from oppression that they're going to. Now let me explain something to you. Let's think about these World War II veterans, these black World War II veterans. They went to they went to stop Germany from committing atrocities and oppression. And in 1940, they were being oppressed. You see what I'm saying? But they had no choice to not join the military because they were drafted. You know, and now how things change is propaganda. In every country and every media spits propaganda. And propaganda puts things in people's minds, narratives, or different ways to make people think that they're doing the right thing. But then when you do things and you realize, oh shit, well that was the wrong goddamn thing. But there's nothing you could do really about it now but live with it and try to figure out, or like the 114,000 people did, off themselves, you know? So it's something that when you think you're doing the right thing, maybe you're not doing the right thing. You see what I'm saying? So it's propaganda and the manipulation of people to go do the will of other people, which can be said throughout history. You see what I'm saying? So no one wants to go to war. None of these people, none of these Americans, white, black, whatever, wanted to be in Iraq. No. And the only thing that I remember, at least everybody said that I was around, Americans in that war, was I can't wait to go home. I want to go home. I want to listen to the music. I want to eat the foods from my home. Nobody wanted to be there. But we're getting paid to do a job, and that's exactly what it is a job, that we have to do because one, and as a black American, how do we deal with it? One thing is I really don't even have a country because I was not accepted in this country. When this country was born, I wasn't included as a citizen if I was in that time. My family members, they weren't citizens. But Africa isn't my home. I've never been to Africa. I don't know anyone. That's not my home. I don't know anybody in Europe. That's not my home. I don't have, we are doing the best that we can. And just like you said, with the cards that we're dealt.
Okay, thank you very much. I want you to respond to this comment that was posted. This person said, I wouldn't fight for a country that enslaved my ancestors, period. That's not smart. If you have something to say to this, please, if you
Yeah,
want.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, if you don't fight, so if you say, okay, hey, I'm not gonna fight for people, that enslaved my ancestors. I'm not gonna join the military. And I'm not sure when he came up onto the conversation, but as I said before, that what are your other opportunities? We have free education. Other than that, as a Black American, we just got benefits. We just got to be full equal rights. Not even full, because there's still mechanisms called systemic racism that keeps us from enjoying all of the equal rights that others have. So if, let's say, I don't participate, if I don't play in the system that I'm in, then I'm also not smart, because what I can now do, what if I don't go fight? What if the only thing I can do is sell drugs, because I can't get a job. I can't get a really good job to support my family. I can't, because when you put your name on a job application, and you put as your ethnicity, because we have over here, like, you have white, black, Asian, Hispanic white, Hispanic black, blah blah blah. We have to put that down on the application. A lot of times before certain time, when they saw your name was, let's say, Jamal or something like that, you know what happened to your job application? Trash. They wouldn't even interview you. You'd never get an interview. So if that's an easier option to go and serve in the military, right, and be paid and garner benefits, right, to advance your life into the future, just like I am here now talking to you today, right? Vice, I might not even have that option if I wanted to do the same thing those other kids are doing, selling drugs and doing this or working a medial job, and can't even be able to sit at home all day and be able to speak to you. So you could say that it's not smart, but what is the alternative to not to being? What is the smart way? What is the smart way that I should have done things that would have lead me to the position to be able to speak to you on these topics today?
I honestly have no um response to that. I don't know. So right now I think I'm going to give the people in the chat an opportunity to come up and ask you questions if they have
Yeah,
any.
absolutely.
Yes. So I'm posting the link in the chat room now.
Yes, ma'am.
You can request to join if you want to. So you can ask him your questions if you have any. Before anybody comes up, is there anything more like that you want to share that we've not had the opportunity to touch on yet?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's really misunderstood. Um, what people see of Black Americans is not what we are. That is not what we are. What people see that we do, there are a lot of good people, a lot of good people that aren't given opportunities. And to be honest with you, the American citizen, whatever they are slaves. We're economic slaves, because we pay so many taxes, on everything. And we don't have a lot. We may have nice cars, but people don't have money. They're broke. They're broke. They just have stuff. You know, our food is garbage. You know, our food has preservatives and all kinds of things that make us really big. And our bodies can't even process it. Now I'm a smaller person, but you know, to understand, don't just look at the slavery of what happened to black people in America. Look at every single day that these people have endured from the minute they landed here on slave ships in America. Look at what they did, how they were broken apart. The families were broken apart. The dads were sold, the kids were sold, the women were raped. We weren't allowed to be in the same places. We couldn't use the same water fountains. This list goes on and on and on, and it still happens today. It still happens today. It's just it's very covert. It's very covert. The drugs that are in our community. Think about it. There's not a black man in America that I know that own airplanes and all kinds of stuff to be able to bring all the drugs that come into our community. We are just the middlemen. And the reason why we fight each other is because we can't compete against the counterparts. We're not allowed to. They don't let us. We can't. If you do something to a white person, you're gonna face. You're gonna be at the bottom of a jail. So it's easier to compete with your fellow black man. You know. Now, with what we do in life, whether it's join the military or what not, it's up to us to use that platform to either advance ourselves or you could use it for bad. Because we all understand that what we did ended up not being the right thing. And you can't change that. But you can have a different mentality and you can move forward to be able to educate the people after you or the people that are around the world. And the reason why that I have the perspective that I have is because I have been around the world. I can't tell you that other people that I grew up with in the black community had these same opportunities to be able to meet people in Africa. In Africa, not Africans come here. No, meet people in Africa, meet people in China, meet people in Australia, meet people anywhere I have been. I have those experiences and I listen to those people just like I'll go ahead and start, listening to you guys and hearing your questions.
Okay, so far nobody has requested to join, so I'm guessing they don't have questions. But let me put the link in the chat one more time.
Yes, ma'am.
People are starting to come to the end of this conversation though. But I wanted to ask you quickly, what your thoughts are on the new drafts. Is it draft law or arrangement that they have going now where I'm hearing they want to start calling for every and anybody in the public. Now it's no longer voluntary like you mentioned earlier. So like what is your take on that?
So, that could be that's for a multitude of reasons, and those things haven't gone into effect yet or anything like that. This is just right now we're in, and the reason why face cover all this stuff like that. We're in a very very fine period of time in this country where we have the elections coming up soon. And as we know, the elections of Donald Trump and Joe Biden, Um, and the person that has spoke a lot about the implementing a draft system is the Donald Trump administration. And the reason being is because the United States military is now probably, I can't quote right off the top of my head, but I can tell you that is a large majority of minorities, that blacks, Mexicans, Asians, people from other races other than white that are looking to get those benefits. That are looking because housing here is amazing to be able to afford. A person graduating high school, they can't even afford an apartment. So what do? You go to the military because now you get a free roof and you get three hot meals. You know that you don't have to pay for. You see what I'm saying? So the reason why this draft is coming back, not only that, I think a war is looming. I do think a really big war is looming. Really, really big war that will change the trajectory of the planet.
Mm.
And with that said, we also have a lack in America, a lack of white males joining the military. So with the patriotism idea is gone. It is gone. So when that goes away, guess what? You have to start telling people, hey, you will serve. Because if you receive all of the opportunities where you could go to college or you could get a job and you don't even have to have experience, what the point is going to join the military? See what I'm saying? So
Mm.
the people who need the benefits of joining the military are the minorities. So that's why the minorities are taking over the military. Now, I just want to go back real fast to, why would you fight for a country that enslaved your people? That kind of goes back to why would you try to run for political office in the country that enslaved your people for change, for change. Because the only way that we can change things is by using our voice. That's it. And using our platforms in order to get the message out, to get that we are good people. We have made all of the contributions in this country. Almost all of them. And all of our contributions have been hijacked by the others.
But like I'm a bit confused. How I want to ask you specifically, I know you mentioned the politicians, but how is it exactly that you joining the military to go help fight the US wars and all of the things that they do or did when you
Mhm.
were part of them? How does that help change, bring any positive change? Do you think that any of the things that they did or that you did when you were with them brought any positive change, like you said that you wanted to bring?
So, one, as I spoke about before, when you go and do those things, you don't know that they're bad. You don't, because you have been told that everything you are doing is good. You're a liberator. You're fighting for freedom. You see what I'm saying? Nobody's telling you, hey, you're going to do a bunch of bad shit, so go do a bunch of bad shit. Nobody's telling you that. They're telling you you're going to fight for freedom. You're going to advance yourself. You're going to do all this stuff. Now, how does that help me to change? That I did all those bad things. How does that help me to change? I'm sitting right here today speaking on those things. And I got a college degree because of it. And I learned about social economic. I learned about all those things and understood why it was bad.
Hmm.
My kids go to college for free. All four of them will go to college for free. Other than that, they'd have to try to get it out the mud and figure it out themselves, or be in the trap that's already laid for them. So my sacrifices, they don't have to go to the military and possibly do bad things because I did it. So they are the change. My children are the change. And now what I want to say is that nothing that I did in the military was good for other people. No, I mean it wasn't, and that's something that I have to deal with in my heart, in my head. That's something that I have to battle with every day, and that's
So
the
would
same.
would you say you joining the military um was totally self-serving?
Oh, I wasn't doing it for a country. I
No,
was
no, no.
not doing it for. Uh huh.
Of course, you were doing it for the country. The country benefited from what you did. But you personally, the decision you made to join and all of the benefits you got,
Mhm.
seeing how it wasn't goods that you were doing, right? So
Mhm.
would you say it is self-serving? Because now you are, you have your stuff together, your kids get to go to college for free on I'm struggling because I really don't want to I really don't want to make you feel like I'm blaming you for stuff because you did not know any better, right? And like I said earlier, you were working with the cards that you were dealt, right?
Mhm.
But if we want to be honest, now you are where you are and your kids get to enjoy what they enjoy today off the backs of other people who got to suffer, and maybe kids who never get got to live long enough to get to college, or parents who never live long enough to be able to be around for their kids because they got gunned down during all this war stuff, right? So
Mhm.
like, would you say what you did, even though was totally self-serving because it wasn't you putting good out there in the world, but you got good in return on the back of other people. That's what I meant.
So let me answer that question. I mean, if a person, let's say a person joins the Russian military or something like that, and they're invading Ukraine for whatever reason, there are people
Mm,
that's not going to go to college. There's people that's dying. There's people, Russian people that's dying. I could have died in the war. You see what I'm saying? I could have died easily. But one, I didn't grow up in. I can't join a military in another country. I can't sit there and say, hey, I joined the American military. Hey, this stuff is bad. Let me go be on the Iraqi side now. That's not realistic. And what's realistic is that I grew up here. I grew up here. What opportunities would I have if I went somewhere else? I don't know. I don't know because I was born here. I was born in this country because of what happened. At some point in time, my family got taken away from where they are, and I can choose not to participate in the system. And if I choose not to participate in the system, one, I didn't do anything on my own where I was sitting there. Really, I'm gonna target this person or that person because I want to kill. I am doing a job because that's the country that I ended up in. That I was just born. Somebody had sex and made me, and here I am. I didn't even ask to be here. You see what I'm saying? Did not ask to be here.
me neither.
So so one, what I say, joining the military was that was my self decision. The military didn't say, hey, it's not like the country came to my house and said, hey, we're getting ready to go to war because we wasn't in a war when I joined. We were not in a war.
Mm,
So I graduated high school, had no other opportunities. I had a baby. I had a baby. When I was in high school, I had a baby. My baby is 23 years old now. You know, so I had to make a decision for myself, not the country. I know what the country did, but or I could let the country not give me opportunities. You see what I'm saying? I can let the country not give me opportunity, not give me a job, so I could support my child. And now, where would my child have been? You know, I can't make decisions, and I can't affect the lives of other people what the decision of what the countries do. I'm not responsible for what the country does. And even if I didn't join the military, guess what? The country would have still did what it did. It didn't matter if I was in it or not. So it's not on me.
Yeah, like nobody is faulting you personally. I want you to understand that I
Yes, ma'am.
understand where you are coming from, definitely. Um so someone requested to join. Oh, and the person is gone. I just try
Oh,
to click on it to add the person, and now the person is gone. So let me just one last time put the link in the
yes, ma'am.
chat. This is a last call. If you want to come up and maybe contribute
Yeah,
your
please, please. Get in here. Let's talk. Let's. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to
yeah,
get a message out. And talk to people and answer questions that they may have. That's what I'm here for. And I would love to speak to people.
yeah. So if anyone wants to come up, you can now. The link is in the chat. I'm going to stay for another 5 minutes, except if Mr. Bucci has something he wants to add. He can quickly while we wait. And if nobody joins in 5 minutes, we're going to end the live.
I want to say something else. Everything that's happening in the world today, we are in a very, very bad situation on this planet. And if we just all look to the left and to the right of us, to the left and to the right, and it would stretch across the globe, and we just be good to the person to the left and to the right, no matter skin color, no matter how tall, how short, man, woman, child. Just be good to the person to the left, to the right, in front of us, and behind us. We'll be in a way better situation. We'll be in a way better situation on this planet. And we need to share. We need to share ideas, share each other's love, give good energy to each other because everything operates off of electricity. Everything. Our bodies operate off of electricity and we're all one. Every one, every body, we're all one entity. We're all one entity and we share energy.
Very quickly, I want to read this.
Yes, ma'am.
This is from um Akbarel. Thank you very much for the support. He says, Ivy Anita, thank you for shedding light and bringing awareness to these issues. Thank you very much, Mr. Akbarel. So
Thank
now,
you, Miss Agbaro.
thank you. I'm adding Augustine. He's with
Hey, how
us.
you doing, Augustine?
I'll be adding Miriam
I'm
next.
doing fine, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Yeah, Abraham. This is Augustine. I don't know you remember me. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How's your evening going?
Nothing much. You know, we are all doing well. It's been a long
Okay.
time though.
Not be small. So, do you have any question for Mr. Bucci?
I just, I was doing something, so I just came. I just saw you online. I was like, all right, let me join the conversation. I don't know how far you guys have gone. I think the last part I had was, you know, this guy was talking about, I think he's a veteran, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I have my relative that he's in the military. Uh, what this guy was saying is absolutely true, right? Veterans are like, especially those that serve in the military. Uh, in this country, they commit suicide. I mean, just that the media doesn't say it, but behind closed door, you know, we people discuss about that. They are really committing suicide in this country. You know, which is that's really unfortunate. Some of them are not getting what the treatment that they're supposed to get. Most of them, or maybe some of them, are neglected by the elite, uh, and some of them probably because of America discrimination and racism. Some of the vets that are black, they are not treated, according to their counterpart, right? Like their white counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like I came from Sierra Leone. I was literally born in war, in civil war. We have civil war in Sierra Leone uh, for like 10 to 11 years.
Yeah.
So I have seen destruction. I have seen when it comes to war, it's all about destruction. There is no good thing about war. There is nothing good about war. It's all about
Nothing.
killing. And guess what? Innocent people gonna suffer. The innocent gonna suffer. Women, kids gonna die. I came from civil war in my country, so I have seen a lot of. Sorry for my language, but I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen people dying in front of me. So when it comes to war, especially this is and probably this guy can testify, right? This is what some, if not most, America don't know. You know, they act tough, or they 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 behave tough, or they talk tough. But
Is it
trust
just
me,
me or
these
is
people.
Augustine's network breaking?
I
Can you
can
hear?
hear good.
You can hear him
Yes, ma'am.
properly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I guess it's
So
me then.
as I was saying, right? So they act tough. I mean, they act tough, but when pull comes to shove, trust me, most Americans are weak.
Hmm?
Most, I'm
Thank you.
telling you, most Americans are
And
weak
and
mentally,
and
physically.
Mr. Augustine, let me touch on that real fast. I want to caveat off that. You 100% right. 100% right. And let me tell you why. Because the resiliency level in this country is zero. And the reason why people will be tough, they will talk a tough game, and that is barking. That is barking. They're barking to get people to back away from them without being tested. And I deal with this every day. As a black man, an American man, somebody always asking me, how you do that? How you got that? How you do? Because there have been uh everything put against me to be able to not have things. And I'm challenged every day. Every day. Some white folk is asking me how you do this, how you got that, how you blah blah blah, because they're trying to figure out how to close the loophole. Now, in America, we black folk, we start at the bottom, and in order to get anywhere, I mean, the first time I seen death, I was 6 years old. I lived in a trailer park, and I watched this woman, her husband, beat her with a bat, you know, and let me tell you, other communities don't see shit like this. But that's the communities that we're placed in. That's the economics that we're given, you know. And one of the things that I want to point out, just like Mr. Augustine said, war is ugly. Everywhere around us was death. Everywhere. Everywhere. You could smell it, you could taste it, you can hear it. It's everywhere. And not only do you see the innocent population die, you not only do you see the enemy maimed in ways that you have never seen a human body, that you have never seen a human, but you also see it happening to the people that you were just standing next to 5 minutes ago. Or sometimes you don't even ever see them again because they're just gone, just completely disappear off the face of the earth. And like we spoke about just now, I was told by a guy that I spoke to in Iraq, and this was 2004. This man's name was his nickname was Naqib, which I believe means captain in Arabic. And this man said, "You American veterans will kill yourselves in droves." And that was in 2004. And in 2001, there are 114,000 suicides. Is because people understand what happened, and
Yep.
people can't deal with
Yep.
what, because in this country we don't see that kind of death and destruction. In the black
Yep.
community, hey, we can see that kind of death and destruction.
Yep.
Not the destruction of somebody being completely ripped apart and stuff, but we see death. We see that there's multiple occasions where I was walking to the bus stop and we heard shooting the night before, and then we see the blood, on the way walking to the bus stop. You know, um, let me tell you, nothing good about war, whether it's here, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's in any country in Africa, any country in Europe, any country in Asia. It is not good. This should not even be a part of our human existence because it's disgusting. It is disgusting. And the people that start the wars don't even fight them.
That's what I
Oh
was
yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Exactly. So sometimes I watch news, like literally, like and the thing about Americans again, I'm not saying most Americans because I've lived in this country for some time now. You know, uh, to be honest with you, everyone, this country, if not most, if not some, people are especially the leaders in this country. It's so embarrassing. These people come on TV, they talk tough, but trust me, I sometimes I tell my coworkers, these are American. I was like, these people that come on TV, especially the elite, or especially uh 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 like people, the elite, or in military, in businesses, or ordinary people, right? I asked my colleague, I was like, my coworkers, I was like, these people, if you put them not even in the forest, maybe just in the grass, ordinary grass, you know, to 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 survive,
Can't do
they
it.
can't survive. They
Yep.
can't do it, but they are tough on TV. Like they are tough on TV. That shit pissed me off. Like you never see where uh somebody, like they kill somebody, like literally somebody life live in front of you. You have never seen that. But you want other people to go and fight your war, right? You want other people kill to go and die and so kill other people in other countries just because of what? You want their resources. You
Yep.
don't want to do trade, fair trade, or you don't want to, you don't want to do fair trade with them. You want to manipulate. You want to take their stuff by force, by every means necessary. You want to manipulate them. In the name of democracy or whatsoever, right? So you have to go and kill them because you don't want to do fair business with them. Unfortunately, and these people come on TV and justify this shit. Especially I mean, they call them, yeah, black folks call them, yeah, bully. You have those bully, that justify all these things happening.
Yep.
It's embarrassing. It's shameful. You know, that's why, like, I mean, I passed military age in this country. So, but I will never join military because what I saw in war, in civil war in Sierra Leone, you guys can go on YouTube and then just check. In Sierra Leone, there is no way my kid can join military
Right.
in this country or
Right.
anywhere. There is no
Anywhere.
way.
And
There is,
and let's
if
all
if
and
if 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 we're gonna survive on shit, we would rather survive on shit. I live in the world, so I have experienced tough stuff. Like trust me, when I tell my white counterpart, like African American, they look at me like, bro, like you quiet, like you seem so nice, you seem so,
hmm
it's like nothing happened in your life. I was like, that thing can change your life. If you see those things, trust me, if it doesn't change you, well, I don't know what can change you.
nothing. If that
I don't
don't
know.
change you, nothing can change you. And let me tell you, Mr. Augustine, and people have seen war. They wouldn't join the military. Like, I don't want my kids joining the military. Fuck that. Excuse my language. No, because I can't even fathom. I don't want my kids to go through the same thing that happened to me, because it don't sit well with me what happened. Being there for 28 months of my life, you know what I mean, and seeing all that, I didn't. Oh no, I don't want that. You know what I mean? And because of that, I would not tell anybody to, yeah, go do this. That's why we're having recruiting problems in this country, because all of the people that join for patriotism and all this stuff like that, and then they went and see what the hell a war was, their kids aren't joining. Their kids are not joining. And you see what we have now, because the thing that gets people in, and they're getting the minorities in, because we don't have the same opportunities as others. And they're like, you have seen war. You have seen war. And you could talk to it, and I could talk to it. But to explain it to someone who has not seen it, and especially with, think about all the movies and these movies that show
Just the
these
propaganda.
these heat exactly, these heroes and all this stuff, and people buy into that crap just like they buy into Disney and all this stuff like that. They buy into this stuff because they show it over and over and over and over, and then they grain something. I mean, how many, and I wear this shirt, we have been bamboozled. And I don't mean that just for black people, but the most people that the majority of people that has been bamboozled in this country have been white people. Why? Because they left every fucking thing in Europe to come to a fucking place to look for some false hopes and dreams. And they call it an American dream, right? What the hell you gotta do to be dreaming? Sleep.
Sleep.
What like if you awake, you could see. And in
Yeah.
this country, being woken and being awake and knowing things that's looked down upon. Why? Because they
Hmm.
want you to sleep and dream so they could be awake and they could take it.
Yeah.
And it's all of the people, not just black America. We ain't never had all the opportunities. I am
No.
the first. I am the first free generation of blacks. First free generation of blacks, right? And we just trying to find our way because our parents didn't even know what the hell they could do. When actual freedom first started for us.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So with that said, we don't know. Like, man, I used to go to the barber shop, right? When I was a kid, I'd go get my hair cut, go get faded up, and they say, "Oh boy, we heard you joining the military, blah blah blah. You joined that white man's army, blah blah blah." And then I go home, and I've went to college, I've done these things, and I'm here speaking out on, hey, this is not a good thing to do. If you ain't got no other options, fuck it. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Do it, whatever. But there are other things, because the how where we are now, where we are right now in this society, we have options, but our options are getting taken away slowly but surely. Why? Because no one wants to participate in the system.
Yep.
Because the easiest way,
Mr.
so
Butch. Oh, I thought you were done.
so
Sorry.
the easiest way, so one of the ways, right? Can any just Joe Schmo black person come off of the streets and say, "Hey, I'm gonna run for political office"? No, white folk ain't gonna vote for you. You see what I'm saying? They ain't gonna vote for you. They scared of you. But if you join, oh, I mean, hey, you was in the military, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, we'll vote for you. You see what I'm saying? It's using a platform, but you can't use it against this group of people and that group of people, because guess what? You being that same negative thing that you're trying to stop, and you have to include all people to make it, because like when we went through the civil rights movement in 1960s, right? That I talked about like foreigners coming here, and telling black people they need to leave and stuff like that. Like what? Bro, we built this shit for free. You see what I'm saying? So with that said, them people who marched and did all those things, they didn't just make it good for black people. That helped women, that helped immigrants, that helped everyone. Everyone. You know, and for people to come and say the immigrants, whether white, Asian, blah blah blah, whatever, to say, hey, you need to, if you don't like it, you need to leave. Wait a minute. I even made it possible for you to be able to do what you do. You see, because when immigrants come here, right, you know where their stores are? In the black community. You know where they live? In the white community. So they take our money out of the black community, and then they go pay their taxes in the white community. So all the schools over there are good, and all the schools in our areas are bad because they've taken the money. And then our kids will sit there with this ratchet ass shit that's on TV and
Yeah.
on music and all this stuff like that, and they will follow this dumb ass
Thank you, Ray.
narrative, this dumb narrative, right? The stupid narrative, right? That's given to them by the government, because the government allows this stuff to be on the air. But you don't see that coming from any other culture. They're not allowing, even though in this country, the people who are all on the majority on welfare, or killing, school shooting, all this stuff like that, are that race of people. You see what I'm saying? Man, that gave me a headache.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bucci. We should give other people opportunity to come
Yes,
up,
ma'am.
but before I do that, let me just say quickly do this. This is from Worldwide Collaborations. Thank you very much for the super chat. He said, "Asa fire on the mountain." And this is from Apok. Thank you very much for the super chat. He said, "Black Wall Street 2024 with self defense." So now I'm going to be letting Mr. Wardrone and Miriam speak.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Hi,
respect
thank you
you.
for joining.
Thank you. Respectfully, Evia, to you. I enjoy your YouTube.
Thank you very much for your support.
And so, a question for the voice of reason. I just got on. I didn't hear the beginning of the of the video, but
Yes, ma'am.
one is I wanted to ask. I feel like whenever a country in Africa is making moves, it like ripples around the world, but they never give them credit. They always make it seem as if, oh, just a civil war just started somewhere, like especially in France. But I think that it's due to what's happening directly in Africa, and I wanted to get your opinion on that. And then another thing is, I get the feeling that the governments are coming together against the people of the world, and I wanted to know, is there anything the people can do? Because I know, for example, Holland now is fighting by themselves, the
Mhm.
farmers, because they're trying to make them not use certain things that they really need for their farm. They tried to do that in Germany. Eventually, they're doing something in America, which I don't know exactly what. And I
Yeah,
just
they're
want
doing all kinds of things.
to So I just wanted to hear your take on how we can come together, because I do see small pockets of white communities coming together. But what about us?
So to answer your question, the first question about the non-recognition of that what's happening in Africa affecting the world. What's happened in Africa always, since the beginning of time, affects the world. Why? Because that's where all people are from. Everyone,
All the
everyone on the globe.
resources. They run
And
good by
all
the
the
economy.
resources, everything is there. The African continent supports the entire globe, the entire globe, because everything is there. You know. So you can't give these countries recognition. Why? because then it would belittle what who you are. You see what I'm saying? Your importance. And so if you say, yeah, Africa is a really important integral part. Now they know that, but they're not gonna say that. You
No,
see what I'm saying? The China, the Russias, the Americas, the Brit, all these people, they know that, but they're not. They can't tell us that. Why would they tell us that?
it's
That would
also
be
why they
that's it.
like to destabilize
I
Africa,
hope
because if Africa was using its own resources to build up Africa, the rest of the world wouldn't have anything, and they would be the new Africa of what Africa is
Exactly, and
needs to be today.
that's what Macron said, or somebody in France. Somebody in France said that like we are going like our kids are going to go to Africa to advance themselves.
I hope
You
the
know.
This
Africans
Yeah,
know
it
and
was
they
this.
the
are not even.
economic prime minister,
Yeah. So
ex-economic
and
minister.
and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Miss Miriam, I want to your second.
Okay, we
No,
lost him.
What happened?
I think he's taking a break to drink water or something. He said
And
it was he
Okay.
and
was yeah.
and let me just, yeah, and they are not even hiding it anymore, right? So uh,
Can
even
you guys hear me?
like for,
Yeah, we
oh,
can hear you.
he's came back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Miss Miriam, I want to answer that question on what can we do as a people, right? We have to understand the knowledge base that we have in the conversations that we're having today, right? And we need to be in those positions to be able to speak to each other and make things little things everything takes a little step, right? So if we can understand, make everyone understand. Like I feel one of my roles is to make Black Americans understand that what you think you're given is not it. That is not it. We can do more. We can do more, and we have to teach our children. And for us as the adults here, we have to see how we can put it's very difficult. I mean, the world is so spread apart, but what we could do is understand. And when you understand, when the things that need to happen, you will make them happen. And it's gonna go. It's just like this morning when Miss Ivy, when we talked about me being down the trash chute this morning. When things needed to happen of me getting out of that trash chute, I did what I needed to do to get the hell out of that trash chute, so I didn't die. So it's in your brain already. We understand these things, and we have to speak intelligently to the people to the right, the left, behind us, and in front of us, and educate them on exactly what's happening through critical thinking and analysis, and not arguing with anyone. Never argue with anyone. Anyone. If somebody wants to argue with you that their point of view is like this is why we're taking over blah blah blah. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to the people. I'm not gonna sit there and try to change that person's mind.
no,
You know what I mean? No, that's pointless. Unless that person wants to change their mind, because the only people that can change people is themselves.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
And
100% in agreement with
Thank you.
that, because it's
You're
like
welcome.
when a lot of people in America, they just like what he just said. If people own drugs, it takes the person that's on drugs to get off the drugs. You can't take a crackhead and make him get off of drugs. But everything else is like what Voice of Reason is saying is like it's pretty much on point. You know, I feel like me myself personally that we all need to have our own land, or at least migrate back to Africa. That way we could have people, because we have all the tools that we need to make Africa rise and our people rise. EVA, she's an educator, I think. Um, she's able to teach the youth. You know, we have science, we have doctors, we have all of these things, man, in within our communities around the world. And if we could just get in one location, we could start building from there. You know.
Can I chime in real fast? You know, I believe, let's go back to like the 1920s in America and stuff, right? Well, with the ending of slavery, the Great Migration, and all these things, right? Um, us black people here in America, we're so spread apart now because people were running away from the South, right, where we landed and stuff like that. They wanted to run away from that ill. I don't want to be there. I'm going somewhere else for opportunity, right? What if, and what if all of those people who went to California and the North, to Chicago and all these places in New York and all these places, because we're not wanted anywhere.
Right.
And what if you go back all to the South, everyone? Because one, I'll tell you what, I don't think they count us all. They do not count us all in no censuses. They ain't walking through this bad neighborhood and this bad neighborhood, and them same people ain't going online and filling out no census. So there are more than 25 million of us in this 330 million country. Way more.
Yeah, I have
And
to agree with that.
if we go down back to where we came from, right? Because what we know as our land, because I'll be honest with you, I just like I said earlier, I can't go to I don't know anyone. Yeah, I got to start over from scratch. Here, I ain't got to start over from scratch, but I can control what I already have in the area that I already know. So if people get their heads out of the back of that little area down there in the crack, and you go back to where you came from, they can't redraw voting lines. They can't control the political system because you completely overwhelm it with you. But right now, like let's say you got cities, there'll be blue cities, right? And everywhere else is red, but there's less people in those red areas, and there's more voters in them. But the voting lines be drawn to where, guess what? It don't even matter. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I can believe that, but
so,
when we don't control anything and the laws are rewritten as they see fit, they would
mhm,
change all of that. The electoral college, say
mhm,
if we all moved to the South, the southern states electoral college would shrink. It wouldn't be as much as say Colorado or
mhm.
you know the places with high content of Republicans or whatever.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's the whole thing with us just being in America. I mean, I can understand what you're saying, and I feel the same way. I mean, we're supposed to have reparations and all of this stuff, but until we have actual control of something, we're never going to get anywhere. We can only get as far as they'll let us get.
Well, one like reparations. This is what I think would happen in giving
Well, how
reparations.
oh, depends on how much they know that we have. That's another thing I think. Knowing how much to keep a secret, like they don't need to
Mhm.
know everything about us.
Mm-mm. So one thing is that like reparations. I mean, the way how in America, uh, our culture, our culture is supposed to be like in West Africa. That is our culture. When you look at certain flags, like the Creole flag and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
Um, when you look at those flags have Senegal, Mali. You see what I'm saying? But that's where we're from.
Yeah,
That is where we're from. And with that said, we still have a lot of our culture, right? But a lot has been hijacked, right? A lot has been hijacked, and to make it something else, right? Like gumbo, this and this and this, right? That's all things they eat there too. You know what I mean?
hmm,
And we were cooking all them things. We do the cooking, we do the inventing because you ain't inventing a washer and dryer if you ain't washing clothes. You see what I'm saying?
right.
So with that said, you know what I mean? We have the knowledge. We do have, but if we fall into the governmental trap, and when I say the governmental trap, I'm not just talking about these Republicans and man, these people are all doing the same thing because they do is bap them gums, and they don't
Oh
do
yeah,
nothing, and they want to stay in power. That's
yeah. The
it. Because
Democrats are no good either.
no, I mean my hey look. So my family had that not me because I'll have to go out there and elevate myself some way somehow. But I got people in my family that they've been in the same situation under every Democratic president and every Republican president. It don't change.
Nope.
Don't change. It don't change. And we are putting our hopes and dreams on people that do not know us. They can't live a day in our shoes, and if they did live a day in our shoes, they jump off a bridge.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I came to the conclusion that I did about us. We have to get somewhere where we're with our people, because we're never going to get anywhere over here with somebody standing with the boot on our neck. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I mean, it's kind of like dumb to think that these people are just going to hand you over anything when they're the
Now you
ones in
got
power. Who concedes power to somebody that they feel like they're more superior than? You
you
know,
can the game can be played. And you understand that we have to move different. We have to move completely different than any other race of people in this country. You gotta and to do like we have not been doing well as a community. As a community, we have not been doing well. You know what I
no,
mean? And the people who do well, either one or two things happen. Either your own community will ostracize you because there is like crabs in a bucket, right?
right?
Or or the other people who advance themselves, this is what happens. They completely assimilate to where they
Yeah, they
throw their
abandon you.
community away. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So with that said, man, like I said earlier, like playing of it, living as a black man in America is playing a video game on the
yeah,
hardest level, and it's hard.
it's
But
real
let me
hard.
tell you, wake up every morning, piss excellence, and do something hard, because we already got to do something hard anyway.
Yeah, I told a guy from Ghana, that I met while I was working, that I was wanting to go to Ghana, man, where I could just be a man. Because
That's
over
it.
here I'm a black man. I want to go somewhere
Yep.
where I'm just a man. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I 100% understand that. Now, one thing, man, I tell you what, they're like, I grew up in the South, you know what I mean, and even in the black community, we divided. We divided by skin color, light skins and dark skins, and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? It is very disgusting. It's very disgusting,
It
and
is.
I tell you what, it's very hard because and I've been all over the globe, and I tell you what, I have been accepted in more countries than my own country. You know, than my own
Yeah,
country, I've been accepted. And one of the things is that I grew up here. You know what I mean? I live all my life here. I've seen other places. I do want to live in other places, but this is always going to be home. This is always going to be home. I could leave but think about all the people. Ain't nobody all making that move across that water. Ain't nobody, not all. So you're gonna leave family member. You're gonna leave this and that. Now they may come to a point that we may have to really figure something out. But until that point, we got to make the situation that we're in work for us, and it's possible. But we have to open our minds that it is possible because everything is telling us that it's not possible. Subliminally, is telling us that it's not possible because they will put in our heads to shake that butt. Screw all these men you can, or screw all these women you can, and I'm going to leave this woman out. And the option to leave people is very too easy. We need
yeah.
to stick together. We have to stick together, and we
But
we got we
I
got to
think
stop
that
competing against each other.
the government pushes everything. It's just like the Willie Lynch letter. It's they want division between everybody, even
Yep.
amongst people that are the same. Like
Yep.
when it comes to Black Americans, African Americans, whatever you want to call it. Yet now
Hmm.
we have people that are calling themselves the Black Indians, and you have
Yeah.
the FBA
Yeah.
and
Run it.
African
They
Americans.
trying to lessen how they feel about themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Trying to elevate that didn't happen to me. You see what I'm
right.
saying? No, man, it happened to you. And one of the things is, hey, if you convince the sheep that he's a wolf, you're gonna have unlimited supply of food.
Yeah,
And people,
exactly.
that's why I wear that. Because guess what? We all been banned because we are economic slaves in this country.
Yeah.
We're economic slaves. And we go to work, we don't even have time for ourselves. We don't have time for our kids. We don't have time. So if we don't have time for our kids, guess who's raising our kids? The dude on
The
TV.
televisions, the
We sit
laptops, the
there,
phones.
how they say, black man, pick up that mic, pick up them cleats. And that's all our kids think they can do.
Hmm.
That's it. That's it. They don't show doctors. They don't show lawyers. They don't show. And then when you do see the doctors and lawyers, they're on that other side of the playing field, and you're like, well, I don't want to be like that. So if I got to do that to be, you see what I'm saying? So if
Yeah.
I got to be like that to be a doctor and a lawyer, I'm just gonna go do that. So
Yeah.
when you see, and that's why I'm here speaking out on being a Black American veteran, is because you could still be yourself and do what you have to do. You can still be yourself and do what you have to do for your community. Always be true to your community because if all else fails, guess who got your back? I ain't gotta be sick. I ain't gotta be called a the you know the American because we're all the same. You see what I'm saying? So my community is always gonna have my back. So I ain't never gonna turn my back on my community, no matter what the hell I did, because you know what? We can ask the same question to the black dude that shot another black dude because he wanted the weed that he had or the whatever that is, so he could go sell. He want to steal it from him. So and how did that benefit this person? You see what I'm saying? What I did put me in the position to speak here today intelligently and speak out on what was wrong. Everybody know that was wrong. The world know that was wrong. George Bush know what he did was wrong.
Hmm.
Everybody knows that.
Can I say?
Everybody knows that. Yes, ma'am.
And then I'm gonna drop off and listen from the other side. I just
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
say I did move out of America. I thought I was gonna leave and never come back, and I actually went to live in Israel. And from being outside of Israel, looking at America, I feel like Black folks in America are not aware of how, I don't want to say successful, but how strong they are. I guess maybe that's the right word.
Oh
How
yeah,
strong they are,
resilient,
because
resilient.
here in Israel, I learned that there are two groups fighting, against each other. They're not against each other, but for a while they were the Sephardi versus the Ashkenazi, and then the Sephardi they took on a title, the Israeli Black Panther. Where did they get that from? From the
What?
Black Panthers in America, they were learning. I feel like a lot of the protests that are going around the world, you see the gestures. They're learning from the African Americans. It's like, and then another thing I learned was the Daily Wire. There was this guy who was, there was this guy who was, they were trying to this women, is a woman a gender or whatever, that whole thing. And in order to find validation, they went all the way to Africa, to the Maasai people, in order to ask, is this strange to you that a woman is not this or that, gender? They have to go all the way there to find valid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
To find
I saw
strength
that
in
documentary.
traditional values. What?
Matt Walsh, right? That is what's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
woman?
Exactly.
Abi, who's a woman? Something like that.
Yeah.
Can I want to caveat off of something you said, Miss Miriam.
I'm sorry, oh please, can I say something?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We've been here for 2 minutes in now. It's going to be 2 hours,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I'm so sorry. As much as I want to remain here and just listen to you people like I have been since, but I really would need to go. So I just
Yes,
want
ma'am.
us to round up and come to a conclusion. But before that, let me quickly get to these super chats from Drega. Thank you very much. He said just some love for Lizis and the algorithm. Thank you very much for your support, Drega. Appreciate you. And this is from Sabariafe. Thank you very much. She says, If Anita will never help the West, US help recolonize Africa. No to the US military bases in Africa. They hate us and will not even pay us reparations. Took risk speaking against the US agenda ancestors. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate you. So I'm just going to let us like conclude. So yeah, we can come to an
All right.
end.
Can I speak for just 1 minute? You know.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah. So all this stuff like the war, Anita, the war we are living, right? It's 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 a dangerous war we are living. Africa,
Mm,
we need to know that nobody gonna rescue us. You know, we are our brother's keeper. We have to protect our land. We have to protect each other.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Jesus or Muhammad, they are not coming to rescue us, right?
No.
Uh,
mm,
so all I need to say right now is we have to be vigilant. You see about I do security in this country, right? Uh, as a security, you have to be vigilant. Like so even to protect the president, it's security. The cops, the police, the military, these are security, all in the name of protecting American interests. You know.
mm.
Uh, so as an African, right, we have to. That's why I love this guy, Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso president. He
Yeah.
always emphasized on be vigilant because these people, and when I say these people, you know what I mean. These people, they come in different tactics. They will come with different tactics. They will come in different formats, and they will never relent. And as African, we have so much resources. You know, it's time to protect our own interests to the last minute. Like we have to be super duper vigilant because the war we are living now, people are losing. Like a lot of great power are losing power, and they're gonna lash out. They're gonna lash out, and who's gonna suffer if we are not keeping up with the pressure? African, we're gonna suffer at the end of the day. We're
Mm.
gonna suffer. We are going to suffer. So all I need to say, my brother and sister in Africa, please, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be messy. The moment we are living, the current moment we are living, it's gonna be bloody. So be ready for that and be vigilant. We don't have atomic bomb, we don't have nuclear bomb. I hope we have nuke. In Africa, I hope we have nuke. Because trust me, the Western country, this is what they respect. These people don't respect if he has stopped. No, it's
They
gonna be
respect violence.
sit for. This is what I mean, think about it. All the Western countries, like literally all the Western countries, they have nuke. You think it's for nothing? No, this is for deterrence. North Korea have it. You think he's happy to have it? No, but he have it because it's for deterrence. You bring your ass here with your democracy or so-called human rights. I'm gonna nuke everybody. Is that what you guys want? Let's do it. Africa, we have to do the same shit. I hope we have nuke in Africa.
100. 100.
I hope we are the war we are living, Anita. The war we are living is a messy war. It's a messy war. Prayer is not gonna save us. At the end of the day, we're gonna be vigilant and be our brother's keeper and protect our territorial rights. We have to be super vigilant. I always emphasize it. We have to be vigilant. As your enemy, you don't give space with when it comes to your enemy. Don't lag behind. As soon as your enemy takes his foot, put your foot there. Don't even allow him to land the other foot. Let your foot be there so that you are keeping him in check. That hey, I'm watching all your moves. I'm watching everything you are doing. I'm watching all your moves. So you better be careful with me. That's all I need to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
100.
much,
Thank
Augustine. We
you.
Peace,
appreciate
bro.
Thank
you.
you, Augustine.
Thank you. Anyone
All right.
else want to give a conclusive statement
I just want to
before we
say
end?
thanks to everybody, especially you for having this forum for us to come and bounce ideas off each other and have communication amongst our people. And everybody else, Black Power.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Hey,
I love your DP. I love the picture you have up. It's nice. I like it.
Thank you.
hey,
Thank you
man,
very much, Mr. Weber.
I appreciate all you guys. Man, Mr. Augustine, thank you. Your
Thank you, thank you,
testimony,
thank you.
that's powerful, dude. From the minute you walked in, you were power. You're a very powerful person, and each and every one of us here are super powerful people because we have voices, and people will listen to, and that's why I said the voice of reason, because we spoke reasoning today, all of us. We spoke reasoning, and we spoke reasoning for people to listen. That we wasn't listening to no. I know I cursed several times. I apologize, but we ain't listening to the. Hey, I'm gonna go do some oxy molly cotton. Yada 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 yada. We ain't listening to that. We want people to listen to this. That's what we want people to listen to be informed, to stay vigilant, keep your head on a swivel, keep eyes on the side, use your peripherals, and use your own. And that's one thing I'm pretty sure Mr. Augustine can tell you. You've been in a war. You now know how, and that's why you're in security now, because you know how to use all of your senses at the same time.
Yep, yep.
And that's man. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, people. Thank y'all. I love y'all. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bucci.
I'm
Um,
dropping off. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
okay,
Thank you.
Miriam, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And let's not forget the people in the chat. You guys too are phenomenal. We appreciate you guys joining us today for these conversations and giving your inputs there in the comments. Thank you very much for coming up. One last person to thank for super chat, Jamar Walters. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, we've come to the end of this conversation. It was fun,
It
entertaining,
was.
and also educating and eye opening. So I guess it's still next time.
I need a quick question.
Absolutely.
When do you normally come online?
See, my brother, I'm trying to create a schedule, but I'm a mess. But I'm trying to create a schedule where I can have like maybe twice a week I come on live. But I'm still
Okay.
working on it. Right now, it's pretty random, right?
It's
So
random.
say
Okay.
something comes up, and I want us instead of making a quick video on it, and I want to have a conversation instead. That's when I come on live. And a situation like this now, when this our good brother here reached out, Mr. Davois, saying he wants to have a conversation on this topic, hence why we are here. So for now I don't have like a schedule, but I'm working on it. I've been working on it for the past 2 years now. But I'm still working on
Hey, just keep, hey, low right love. Keep it moving forward, man. We're doing good. You're doing good.
it. Thank you, thank you. So but I'll try. I'm still working on that schedule. I'll try and get it
I mean,
together.
yeah, you can start with maybe once a week.
Yes, yes, and then take it
Definitely.
up
I
from
know,
there, right?
I know you have your own personal life to live, so it's not easy.
Yeah.
But you are trying. What you are
Yep.
doing. It's only God will bless you at the end of the day. You are trying.
Yep.
Thank you, thank you,
100%.
thank you.
Hey, I thank you guys, and I'm gonna check out. I'm hungry, and I wanna get some
Yeah.
sustenance in, and absolutely. Hey, again, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All
Thank
right. All
you.
right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night, people.
Good night.
Bye. Bye, everyone in the
Bye bye, guys.
chat.
All right.
Yeah, it's a weekend. Do have a lovely weekend and be safe. Have fun
All right.
too. It's a
All
crazy
right.
world.
All
Let's
right.
try to do things that will bring some fun and happiness into our lives. So yeah, bye, 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 bye. And ending the live.